Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today is a big day for me, personally, because a game that I have been excited about for many years now is nearing early access release. It is coming out on November 12th, and I was given access to a preview build of this a couple of days ago, and this game is called Sea Power: Naval Combat in the Missile Age. It is being developed by Tarrasque Games, a successor to Killerfish, one of the developers from Cold Waters, which we've played on the channel before, founded Tarrasque and is making this game. It is being published by Microprose, and it is in many ways a spiritual successor to the Jane's Fleet Command game, which I played growing up. And I'm excited to take a look at this thing and, you know, see what's what. Now, I will say I have not had a ton of time in this quite yet, so just an FYI, I am not an expert. This is very much intended to be a first look type video. I am actually going to be, probably by the time you're watching this, on my way up to a blind to go, you know, duck hunting with a couple of college friends. And so I will, you know, it'll be a few days before I have more content other than this. But I did want to take a look at it before I headed out. And, yeah, so I figured why not go ahead and give this a look. Now, Sea Power is going to have a campaign. You may notice that there is no campaign here yet. It's not ready yet, at least as of me playing this. There will be a campaign with the game. There's also a mission editor, which allows you to create your own missions. I believe they're going to lean heavily into mods as well. You know, Cold Waters had a very robust mod scene. I imagine this game will also. But for the sake of today's video, we're going to be playing a scenario, a sort of single mission scenario that we can go ahead and just jump into here. Now, there's a list of scenarios here currently, anyway, in this build of the game, of varying degrees of difficulty. The number of stars here represents the amount of difficulty that each individual scenario might have. And because I'm still fairly new to this, I'm going to play one of the less difficult scenarios, and because my grandfather served on the USS Oklahoma City, I'm going to do the Dong Hoi scenario, which is a surface bombardment task force moving against North Vietnam in 1972. I believe Wolfpack actually made a video on this particular scenario the other day, but I was already sort of toying around with doing this. So, you know, there could be two videos out there on the same scenario, right? So let's go ahead. Oh, by the way, if you are looking for more Sea Power content, check out Wolfpack 345. Dude makes the best content out there on these types of games, and I definitely would recommend checking this stuff out. But yeah, so you can see here it is 1972. It is April of 1972. So I'm assuming this is part of the Easter Offensive, which was North Vietnam's first attempt, really, post-major U.S. intervention to overthrow South Vietnam. It was very much a conventional offensive, which the North launched against the South. There were a number of very deep penetrations into South Vietnam, several locations where it took months and months, and I think in a few cases, never was the South able to fully eject the North from some of their conquests from this period. But it was also a period in which the U.S. was still aiding South Vietnam. The U.S. was bombing the hell out of North Vietnamese forces that were attacking Southern forces. For the most part, U.S. combat troops had been withdrawn from South Vietnam, but the U.S. was still using air power, it was still using naval power, and it would also engage in various bombing offensives to try and, you know, tidy up the war from America's point of view in an acceptable peace. Obviously, the North would overrun the South 3 years later, but the Easter Offensive was a very large conventional offensive in which South Vietnam did survive with great aid from the U.S., or considerable aid from the U.S., but most of the ground combat was being done by South Vietnamese soldiers. I think that's something a lot of folks often forget. When they think of sort of the U.S.'s withdrawal from Vietnam, they think that the South just collapsed right away. It did not. The U.S., again, did aid quite a bit, but anyway. Intelligence reports indicate that the North Vietnamese are transiting large amounts of troops and supplies along the coastal highways toward the Quang Tri Province battlefront. sail along the coast and destroy any large installations like docks and fuel depots. The guided missile cruiser, or cruiser, really? Sterret? I thought it was a destroyer. Anyway, the guided missile cruiser Sterret is on station to the northeast to provide air cover. Threat reports. Intelligence indicates targets defended by several coastal artillery sites. Warning, do not fire unless fired upon. Maintain radio silence unless otherwise directed. Can we edit our formation here in the pre-battle phase? Doesn't look like we can do that right now in this particular scenario. So go ahead and hit play. And can I pause? Yes. Ooh, man, this game looks good. I like the way it looks. You've got here the Oklahoma City, which was a guided missile cruiser. This was actually a Cleveland-class light cruiser in World War II. She was refitted after being decommissioned for a time, but she was refitted during sort of the Cold War to become a guided missile cruiser. You can still see she has her forward triple turret mount, signature of the Cleveland class. The second triple turret was removed, I guess, and replaced with a dual turret. I thought she had more than one in the front. But then in the rear, she's got a helo pad, which is added. No rear turrets. It looks like she's got a dual arm sort of missile launcher in the back here. You can kind of see the hatches where the missiles come out and load onto these missile launchers. And then you've got some various, electronic equipment all up the superstructure of this ship. God, I love the imagery where you've got like these other ships on the horizon just in view. There's something about ships moving underway that is just pretty. We've got other ships in this particular scenario, though. So the Oklahoma City is kind of our main ship, I guess you would say, in this particular scenario. She is escorted by the Higsby, which is a destroyer here. You can see the DD-806. She's got a twin turret in the front and in the back. I don't see any missile launchers on her. And actually, if you look on the lower part of the screen, you can actually, there's one here. You can see on the lower part of the screen, there are different weapon systems you can see here. So it's got 16 RU-5s. I think those are ASROCs, so air sort of rocket launch torpedoes. 12 Mark 46 torpedoes, 904 127 millimeter shells, 20 noisemakers, and 70 chaff. So yeah, I guess not really any missiles per se. Rocket launch torpedoes, yes, which we probably won't find a use for. Additionally, we've also got the DD-764, the Lloyd Thomas here, 12 Mark 46s, 1,356 127 millimeter rounds, 20 noisemakers, and 70 chaff. So again, this one has two dual mount surface guns or multi-purpose guns in the front, one in the back. Very much a kind of a World War II configuration on these particular ships. And then we have a fourth ship here up here, the Sterret. It said cruiser. This says it's a DLG, so I don't know that she's a cruiser, but is a destroyer with missiles, dual mount in the front here for missiles, and then in the back it's also got a helo pad and then a turret in the back of the ship, just a single turret. So it's got 40 RIM 2F surface-to-air missiles, 20 RU-5. Are these ASROCs too? I think, firing the Mark 10. 16 Mark 46s, 6,076 millimeter rounds, 640 127 millimeter rounds, 20 noisemakers, and 70 chaff. So she's the only one with anti-aircraft missiles by the looks of it, I think. Actually, no. Of course, the Cleveland. Oh my God, why am I saying Cleveland? The Oklahoma City has 40 RIM 8s, as well as the 152 millimeters, which are the larger guns, and then the 127 millimeters, which are the smaller guns. So this is where we're at. You can see our force does have a plotted course moving directly sort of parallel to the coast, and then it looks like it's going to pull away from the coast as we get further out here. You can actually zoom in on this sort of tactical map, if you will. The strategic briefing said Yankee Station is off this way here, which I believe is where the U.S. aircraft carriers would launch from in support of the South, or, you know, if there were raids going north. But I don't see anything. I don't see anything on this map. I just see these four ships of ours and no other contacts at the moment. We do have weapons tight, so one thing I think is important to keep in mind in this era, or really in any modern era, any radar era warship scenario, you don't want to go out broadcasting your radar, right? You're not going to see a lot necessarily right now, but you have to be careful with your electronic emissions. That was true already, especially for submarines in World War II. But when you turn a radar on, it is basically the same thing as using active sonar underneath the waves, right? Everybody kind of knows active sonar, not so good for a submarine trying to remain hidden because you are broadcasting a loud noise coming from a very specific point in the ocean, and everybody can kind of follow that back to the point of origin. It's kind of like a big spotlight, right? You might see something, but you are also telling everybody where you are. Well, radar and all other electronic emissions kind of work the same way for surface warships too, so something to be mindful of. That is why when ships sail in combat zones, they typically do not have their sensors turned on. It's very much a receive only and not broadcast. Now, sometimes you want to use those radars to illuminate a target or other things like that, but you have to be careful about how you actually broadcast. So right now, anyway, it looks to me like we have no emissions on right now. I don't think we've got the air search radar. I don't want to click that because I'm guessing it'll turn it on if I do that. Or surface radar. I believe those are both on. Weapons are considered tight. It is not a weapons hold, but it is a weapons tight right now. Basically, we are not shooting at anything unless it shoots at us. If they do shoot at us, we will shoot in self-defense, which was mapping to our rules of engagement. Weapons free would just be like, have at it, boys, but we're not there yet. Formation manager, there's a formation manager up here, so you've got the sort of surface action group, Oklahoma City up here, Higsby and Lloyd Thomas. So we can set different roles for the formation here. So we could, there's a lot of, so we do a cap, ASW, unset, core, plan, anti-something, I can't see what that is, fleet. Can I make this bigger? Yes. Will that tell me anything more? No. Unspecified, I'm guessing, is what that is trying to say, but it doesn't, I can't actually read it. Alright, let's do this. We're gonna make the Oklahoma City the core. And then I think, do we set the DD Higsby to plane guard? I'm assuming that would guard against enemy aircraft, right? And then it does look like they're closer into shore, kind of in a staggered line here. Or I guess anti-air, I suppose. Well, we're probably not going to be dealing with submarines. I don't know what MPA means. Alright, let's just do anti-air. Also, is there, if we click on these guys, they've got a helo deck. Do they have air operations that they can... It's tight. Okay. Well, maybe that's not really... It looks like a hangar deck to me right here, but... I'm just trying to see if anybody has... Here's a flight deck here. So the Stirret has a flight deck. And we do have a SH-2F. We've got one of them, which we could launch. We do an ASW loadout or nothing. Probably not going to have to deal with any enemy submarines, I'm guessing. But we might want to use them for, like... Again, I was talking about concerns about broadcasting our location to other people. So maybe it makes sense to use these guys kind of as like a picket. Get them up into the air, and then we could, you know, I'm assuming... I don't even check, but I'm assuming they have some sensors that they can sail around at. Whoa, 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 what just happened here? We appear to have multiple contacts showing up. Your sensors are not on, right?
IMCOM, secure all emitters. Radar eye.
Yeah. Okay. So MCOM is what we were set to. It doesn't have a check mark. It would make me feel more comfortable if it had a check mark next to it. It does say it down here.
MCOM, secure all emitters.
But apparently we are picking up on something. We're picking up. I'm guessing this. I don't remember exactly what the yellow circle, but is this a radar? I'm not sure. We've got some sampans, some neutral shipping out this way. Again, I'm not sure if these are like visual. Can they see us? Or can we see them? I mean, there is. You can see these ships on the horizon, so maybe we do have a visual on some of these guys. Whoa! We got a torpedo boat. Maybe we got a real Gulf of Tonkin going on here. We got 2 enemy torpedo boats. I'm assuming they're enemy. They look like the North Vietnamese flag, Navy flag. Kind of sailing up here toward our guided missile ship. I'm a little nervous about giving away my position, but if we know they're hostile and we know they're here, I think we do want to engage with them. So, oh shoot, what's the surface? What weapon do you have that I can even engage with? Mark 46 or ANSSQ. That's a sensor, isn't it? Wait. Wrong. I was gonna say I've got the wrong ship selected. All right. 127 millimeter, I guess. This red sort of circle represents, hey, they are in range, so you can see the radius of which we can shoot this gun. I don't know if I should be engaging. Like, I'm still MCON, so I don't know how accurate, if I'm not using my radar to fire control this thing, how accurate I'm actually going to shoot. I also don't know. I don't think it'll give my position away to anything else, but you can see we're very quickly just opening fire on the enemy. Those shells are sailing out that way. You can see a visual here. So we're shooting at the thing. I don't know how accurate we are. I mean, we're pretty on. I mean, this is a tiny ass target. Whoa, we got a hit. She's ablaze. I don't know how many 127 millimeter rounds she can take. Looks like she's dead in the water. Let's pause this here. And then let's engage the other target.
Engage track 7007, salvo fire.
So these guys are adjusting their formation slightly based on the orders I gave them. They're all, I guess, falling in line behind, or they're closing in on the Cleveland at the very... I keep saying Cleveland, on the Oklahoma City. My grandpa was on the Oklahoma City. Cleveland class, Oklahoma City. All right. So we're going to switch the target. Meanwhile, the helo is out here on the flight deck. They're in the process of launching her. So they're launching her. Can they launch the helo with the rear turret in action? Would that... I don't think there'd be any back blast that far away, but I gotta wonder. So as they're launching, I don't see her spooling up her engines yet. There's the other guy. Didn't I tell you to switch your fire? Oh, spooling up. Engage the other track now, please. Helos, you can see it's speeding up. She's going to be airborne soon, I think. Not engaging, apparently. Let's change the course of the ship here. I just right-click on the map, and my ship will change course. There goes the helo. New visual. What did Oklahoma City see? It doesn't say whether it's friendly or enemy. Visual semi-small. We've got, what, visual, so mark one eyeball? What are we looking at here? Aircraft? Or is this the... Okay. I wouldn't think the enemy would be... I mean, I guess I wouldn't have assumed torpedo boats. Maybe I shouldn't assume this has no threat to us. Makes me a little nervous. Let's unpause here for a sec. The thing's moving quickly. It's moving 500 knots? Can I just assume it's a bad guy? Like, I guess it could be a... You'd think a friendly would have an IFF. Oh! Alright, enemy MiG-17, I guess? What's it got on it? Looks like bombs. 2 bombs. 2 airdroppable bombs. Alright, boys. Let's do this. What do you engage air targets with? Can you engage an enemy air target with your... I don't know if you can actually... I guess you could probably... I mean, 5-inchers can be used against aircraft, right? That's all I've got on these guys. Alright, I guess we can use a... Can he shoot at that? Was that in range? No, it doesn't look like the rim is engaged, is in range. But the 5 inches, or not the, is that, yeah, the 5 inches. Alright, I know I'm pausing a lot on a fairly simple battle, but I just like looking at this stuff too. Alright, it's off this way, right?
Track 7011 is classified hostile air.
Alright, we've engaged. Ships are maneuvering too, at the moment, anyway.
New visual contact designate track 701.
I love that. Look at all that fucking flak out there, just puffing out there. Also, we have another track. I don't know what it is, but it's looks. I'm guessing it's another aircraft. Still got bombs. Just so pretty. All right, what's she gonna do? She's.
Track 7012 is classified hostile air. Hit track 7008.
All right, so we hit the other torpedo boat with our DLG whatever. So does this guy have air launched that he can engage with? What's the range on this thing? Yeah, okay. You might need to turn on your sensors. Also, Oklahoma City. Are any of these guys engaged in range yet?
Engage track 7011.
I'm a little nervous. Can you drop a missile on these guys? I told you to engage it. Alright, we gotta turn. We gotta turn this ship. Alright, so he's coming in back here. I probably want to turn into him, maybe? I mean, they're unguided bombs, I'm assuming.
Turn to course 2.
So, just right-click on the map to turn the course. Can I change speed? We're gonna switch ahead to flank
Maneuvering I.
to try and make the turn quicker. This guy looks like he's coming in on the second destroyer. So I'm also going to have him turn course. It will take some fire out, but I want to present a smaller target to the enemy.
Ahead flank. Maneuvering I.
And if they're both coming in with unguided bombs, I certainly don't want to be... I mean, they've probably got guns too, but I'm more worried about those bombs. I don't want to not be maneuvering.
Engage track 701.
I really would like to see a missile launch. Maybe I can turn... Let's just do air search. We're going to turn air search on. They already know we're here, so what's the difference, right?
Visual contact. Designate track 7013.
Enemy aircraft's coming in.
Track 701.
You should be turning. Fuck! That seemed way too easy for them to just hit me. Did that... maybe the first ship didn't get the order to maneuver, because... Jesus Christ! That seemed way too easy for them to just hit. I'm gonna call a little bit of bullshit, and that I don't believe... Wait, there's more aircraft? Where was the third? I don't know that I believe that the North Vietnamese Air Force was trained to conduct air attacks on maneuvering warships at sea. I'm a little skeptical of that. But, yeah. Alright.
Engage track 7013.
I would like to use the damn missiles, but...
Hit track 7007. Engage track 7013. Contact completed. Track 7012.
Fuck it. I wonder if we would have had more luck with our anti-aircraft if the radars had been on. You'd think at least fire control radar would have had to be on, but...
Hit track 7007. Contact completed. Track 7013.
I guess the one good thing is we did manage to sink one of the... Looks like both of the enemy patrol boats are going to be sunk. Well, we got the missiles on the rail on the Cleveland, so they're ready to fire.
Log away. Track 7007.
Apparently we also are firing a missile in... I guess this is an anti-shipping configuration. Seems like a waste to shoot these missiles against a non-maneuvering patrol boat. What are the odds you're even going to hit the damn thing? It's so small. The Lloyd Thomas, both of the destroyers are sinking. The guys who were hit by the enemy aircraft. I want to see. I'm a little like we were maneuvering pretty quick there. I'm just gonna, and I'm sorry guys. I'm like obviously this is not the most polished of videos, but let's try this one again. Let's just. I won't do it quite as micro-y. I won't tell you everything we're gonna do, but let's try and play this one just again real quick and see like what's the best path to avoid these enemy aircraft. Now I didn't watch Wolfpack to know exactly what he did. I'm assuming he did well. He always does his stuff well.
Multiple hostile contacts.
Engage track 700. Engage track 70.
Oh, we also have a 75mm, which is in range. Which looks like this kind of like anti-aircraft gun by the looks of it. So maybe we can deal with these guys more quickly. These guys have any other guns I can engage as incoming targets with? No.
Turn to course 6. Hit track 700.
That was quick. They're already scoring hits. Looks like it's getting dead in the water too. I don't know if it hit with a 76 or a 120. I didn't look at the report. Increase speed.
Hit track 7008.
Hit it with a 120. Air defense? Let's just do weapons free on air defense. Whoa, what are you shooting at? I didn't do weapons. I didn't do full weapons free. I just told you to do weapons free on the... Okay, whatever. I thought I just told you to do weapons free on air defense. Visual contact. Pause. Well, that's hostile. We'll just make that immediate declaration. Everybody's allowed to just go weapons free on the air defense. Can your... Now he's flying in, so he's going to be approaching you. So yes, the Rim 8 does not have a very long range. But in theory, depending on how you do your math, maybe you could engage.
Air search on. Radar eye. Engage track 7011. Track 7011 is classified.
Are we ever going to get a hit on one of these? With our SAM or flak? Oh, SAMs are coming out. They going to shoot? One away. Oh, you're shooting at the wrong target. No. Well, maybe you're going to get one out. I was going to say, it looked like you were shooting at the wrong... Alright, we splashed one. Okay. Can you get another missile out on this MiG-17? So maybe we just saved one of the destroyers, because this guy is coming apart. He got blasted. The weapon's free, though. He sent one of his rims... His Rim 8s out at this target, which is just silly. I told you weapons free on air for what it's worth, not... This guy's ablaze, this guy's not. Switch your target.
Engage track 7007. South. Engage track 7012. Engage track 7012.
Any chance you're gonna get another salvo of missiles out?
Engage track 7.
Probably not. That'll probably be too quick a turnaround.
New visual contact. Designate track 7.
Nope. Alright, can you... Mark that asshole as...
Engage track 7.
You're not gonna... Higsby, you're doomed. I'll let you leave formation.
Air search on. Radar eye.
Can you use chaff at all? Probably not.
Out. Engage track 701. salvo fire. Engage track 7012. Salvo fire.
Alright, I think we're still going to lose one of these destroyers, but...
Track 7015 is classified hostile.
He's not turning.
Turn to course 298. LI.
Multiple hostile contacts.
Just flew overhead. Got hit.
Hit track 70. Birds away. Track 7012.
Looks like the missile defense destroyer did end up firing a missile in defense. But it was... There's the chaff, by the way. Bombs away.
Multiple hostile.
How do they hit at that rate? These guys are just... Well, one miss. We saw one miss there.
Birds away. Track 7012. Splash track
Alright.
7012.
One of them's going down.
Hit track 7008.
Those are some close-in flak hits to not be doing any damage to a frickin' jet. Just saying, they're remarkably resilient to shrapnel hitting them. But whatever. We got more missiles on the launcher. They're probably out of range.
Hit track 7008. Engage track 7015. Engage track 70. Birds away. Track 7015.
Maybe if I had ordered the DDG to fire with air defense as soon as they spotted them. Because it looked like the RM-2F was... I mean, that came out pretty much as soon as I ordered it to. Maybe the missile would have gotten in time. It didn't seem like the enemy making their bomb run was super interested in avoiding the missile. Maybe they didn't know they had been painted. I'm not sure. In any event, Higsby's gonna sink.
Turn to course 324. LI.
She's ablaze. I'll take losing one destroyer over losing two. I started to figure it out. Is there any damage control you can do? DC teams. Flood, flood, flood. There's 3 compartments that are flooding. I mean... Hull damage, heavy, moderate flooding. Yeah, I don't think I can save her. She's only got 1 damage control team.
Hit track 70.
Curious, can any of these guys provide any... Yeah. I doubt I was just like, can they do any assistance to the Higsby? But I guess not. Higsby's sinking. She's turned black, so I assume that means she's sinking. Yeah.
Turn to course 310. LI. Hit track 7008.
Alright, we sank both the enemy torpedo boats. Let's time compress a bit and get our ship in range, I guess, for its...
Flooding beyond control. Abandoning ship.
150s.
Engage track 7014. Salvo fire.
Man, you're taking kind of evasive action. Is the enemy shooting at us yet?
010.
That's a radar.
New visual contact. Designate track 7020. New visual contact. Designate track 7021.
Wait, what are these? Pause. Do we got more enemy air coming in? Visual small. Visual of what? I think these are boats. I don't know what. We've got friendly or neutral boats down here. These could just be more boat like neutral boats. Can't really click on them and see yet. Oh, you bastards.
Engage track 7020. Salvo fire. Hit track 70.
I don't really want you to use your missiles. I just
Turn to course
want you to use your guns. It looks like they're turning to use their missiles. No, don't do that. Such a waste. You're not gonna hit him with that anyway.
Hit track 7020.
It was closer than I thought it was gonna be, but I don't want you using those expensive ass missiles on a dinky ass patrol boat. Use your 152.
Engage track 702. Turn to course 183.
And you use your whoops. I just dropped a noisemaker.
Engage track 7020. Salvo fire. Bulldog away. Hit track 7.
Stop shooting the Mohawk. Uncle Sam's gonna be very mad at you for wasting those missiles. Is there a way that you can... Because I know when I tell it to shoot a particular weapon system, it will do that. But I'd prefer to avoid shooting the weapon systems I don't want to use. In any event, this guy's sinking. He's burning, and he's getting straddled by shells. So at least the... there's another hit there. He's gonna go down. Or he already is. So let's do the 152 on this guy. So just right-click there. Can also do the 127.
Track 7021. Salvo fire. Bulldog away. Track 7. Engage track
Is that a bulldog? I thought it said Mohawk, but I guess it's bulldog. I would rather you be... Maybe if I was weapons tight, it would only do what I told him to shoot. That probably makes sense. That's kind of what it was doing before.
Hit track 7021.
Alright, the enemy's just, you know, their patrol boats are just dying. We're not yet in range of the land targets. So let's speed things up. Times 10, is that the fastest?
Equipment error. No track assigned. Turn to course 324.
What's going on? I hear gunfire. Whoa. Enemy shooting artillery at me? I see fuel depots I'm trying to target. Radar installations. I don't see arty. But obviously there is some. Incoming artillery. I'm not sure where. I'm guessing it's radar guided. If I knock out the radars with my guns, then perhaps I'll knock out the artillery's ability to shoot. Whoa, that is maximum elevation right there. Look at those. They're like, we can't even think about shooting that far. What are they shooting at me with that they've got that kind of range? Will I pick anything up if I do surface search? There's more surface contacts up here. As soon as I turn that radar on. Looks like we disabled one of these bad guys.
Contact faded. Track 7013. Contact faded. Track 700. Contact faded. Track 7010.
So we're kind of bracketing the target.
Hit track 701.
Radar sight. Okay. I'm just making the assumption that if I hit the radar sight, the shooting will stop. Maybe not, though. Oh, there's another radar station right here.
Engage track 7014. Salvo fire.
Some of these guys are getting uncomfortably close.
New visual contact. Designate track 7025.
Multiple contacts detected.
Hit track 7014.
How many radar installations are there? Jesus Christ.
Engage track 700. Salvo fire. New radar contact. Designate track 7028.
Keep plastering the ocean. Or not ocean, but the
We're hit.
field. Oh no.
Hit
A
track
We were hit by a 130 millimeter shell.
7025.
What's damage control say? No,
Building.
basically no damage. Okay. Well, she is a cruiser. She should be able to take a couple of hits. Okay, well, there's some anti-aircraft artillery. Wonder if, well, this would not be what's shooting at me, is it?
New visual contact. Designate. Engage track 7025. Salvo fire.
I don't know if that's what's shooting at me, but it is shooting, so let's engage that bastard. I'd like, you know, it'd be nice if we just call in another 100 millimeter round shell or whatever hit us. It'd be nice if we could just call in a we got a small amount of flooding, but it's already taken care of.
Station.
Can we just call in the New Jersey? Is she around anywhere, guys? Can she just shell the shit out of the ground? You know?
We're hit.
Stop hitting me.
Visual contact. Designate track 7030.
Perhaps maneuver would be.
Turn to course 311. LI.
Alright, everybody, that's going to do it for this first look at sea power, naval combat in the Missile Age, the upcoming game by Jurassic Studios and published by Microprose. I'm really excited for this thing. I'm sure this performance was less than inspiring for some of you folks who are looking for someone who is perfect at naval combat. I am not. And I'm also still getting to know the game. This was intended more of like, hey, if you pick this game up and play, what's the experience you're going to have as you try and navigate the game? I'll say my initial impression is like, yes, there's a lot here. Systems management is important. Sensor management is important. I do, you know, in a scenario like this, I wonder, the enemy's already so close in on you at the start of the scenario. I'm sure using hindsight, I could know to, hey, be prepared to shoot your missiles here. Have the Oklahoma City positioned in a way that her SAMs are going to cover the incoming enemy aircraft's route. You know, you saw a little bit of that in this second attempt. So, like, I'm sure there's ways you could win this scenario fairly easily. Because once the aircraft are gone, the shore bombardment does a little bit of damage to the Oklahoma City, but I end up burning through almost all my ammo, just sort of plastering a fuel depot and hitting some enemy radars and shore installations. I think it would have been better served bombing all of the, you know, targets like the fuel tanks and the depots and kind of ignoring the shore artillery. And I could have used my destroyers in that mission as well. I could have brought them up more closely. But I didn't think it was worthwhile to show you guys, you know, another 10 minutes of me just bombarding the shore installations as I burned through all my ammo. But yeah, it's an interesting scenario where, like, I wonder how much using your pre-knowledge of, you know, playing and failing and then playing again and perfecting it really is going to play in. I'm really excited for the campaign where things get more dynamic. I'm really excited to see what people do with this game when they get their hands on it with mods, when they get their hands on it with individual scenarios. I definitely want to play a lot of all of that and a lot of this whole game on the channel. But that's going to do it for today. Like I said, I'm heading out on a hunting trip, and I won't have time probably to give any more playing of this until next week sometime, but look for a lot more of this on the channel in the coming weeks as we come up to launch and then post-launch as well, and hopefully you will see me get a little bit more proficient with the game also. But what I was saying is, I do feel like, you know, like managing your sensors, knowing when to use them, you know, knowing a bit about naval combat, like that's all going to help you in a game like this. It is surprisingly deep for... I don't know that I wasn't expecting it to be deep, because Cold Waters was deep, but it's approachable too, and that's kind of where, like, I've played games like Command Modern Air Naval Operations, and this is not meant as an insult, but that game is not approachable in the same way that something like this is. This feels like a game that anyone could pick up and play and start to learn. Like, you're not going to be great at it. Obviously, my videos here, I wasn't great at it. But the user interface seems intuitive enough to me. I haven't watched a lot of the content that's out there. I know there have been a few content creators which had access well before me, and they've been playing a bit. I've watched a little bit of Wolfpack stuff, but I've been kind of trying to reserve, you know, hold myself back a little bit from watching too much out there, because I didn't want to get, like, too much of the experience soiled for me, if that's the right word. I didn't want to, like, know everything jumping in. I kind of wanted to have a true experience of, like, if I was out there buying this game when it's available, what would I experience? And, you know, I think, to me, it seems, again, maybe it's just, I've played a fair number of these types of games before, but the user interface seems approachable. The tactics, the strategy, that's going to take some time. That's going to take some getting used to. Maybe that'll take some tutorials, which aren't available yet. And so, like, that'll certainly help. They are working on a manual. They did share that with us. And I did spend a little bit of time reading through that. But overall, like, this game didn't seem insurmountable to this point, and I've enjoyed, you know, the time I've put into it. That's probably enough of me rambling about it. You'll see more in the coming weeks on this channel from this game. And let me know your thoughts below, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this abbreviated first look at this game. And we'll see how things get more complicated when we start, you know, attacking enemy Russian submarines, enemy surface action groups. You know, we didn't do great in this scenario, but it's also, like, the simplest scenario you could have. The only threats are air and couple of small patrol boats. So other than the fact that the North Vietnamese MiG-17 seemed maybe a little too accurate with their bombs, I was very impressed, and that's just my own minor quibble for sucking with what we've got here so far. But that's enough of me rambling. Thanks again for tuning in. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and you know, hopefully I shoot ducks and geese better than I shoot MiG-17s. Okay, guys. Thanks again. I'm out.